All right, Chairman.
Good afternoon. The Board of Adjustment is now in session. My name is Anthony Robinson, and I will be chairing today's meeting. Attending today's virtual meeting are board members Mona Parsley, Joe Klitzing, Deneen Vaughn, and Jim Dallas. Also in attendance for the city is Mary Hart Burton, Zoning Administrator for the city, Evan Winkler, Community Development Planner for the city, who will represent the city in the cases we are hearing today, Andrea Gutierrez, Lead Zoning Specialist. Our attorney for the board is Archer Mellon, and our court reporter is Laura Stewart. Today, we will be hearing 4 cases. First, we will hear from the city's representative, who will explain why the permit could not be issued. Next, we will hear from the petitioner and/or their representative. Please be prepared to explain your hardship and answer inquiries from the board members. Then we will hear from those in favor of the appeal and then from those opposed. Please be concise, as testimony will be limited to 3 minutes per person. When you come online via video or telephone, please wait to be sworn in by the court reporter. Then please state your name and mailing address. Excuse me. To ensure proper records for our court reporter, we ask that those online or by telephone to please remain on mute. Following testimony on all of today's cases, the board will go into its deliberative portion of the hearing, at which time we will vote on the cases we've heard. The board will notify each applicant and/or their representative of its decision by mail in about 2 weeks. You're welcome to remain during our deliberations. However, we will not hear additional testimony at that time. You may also call the lead zoning specialist, Drea, tomorrow at 314-622-3666 to learn the outcome of your appeal. Again, that number is 314-622-3666. Drea, will you please read appeal number 20616?
Appeal number 20616, 2819 Ohio Avenue.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Good afternoon, board members. My name is Evan Winkler, Community Development Planner for the City of St. Louis, and I'll be representing the Building Commissioner. I'm here to present evidence of an appeal to operate an auto leasing, auto rental business with detailing of only the company-owned vehicles, no auto repair, at 2819 Ohio Avenue. I'd like to present as evidence for this case photos and aerials of the said property, plans for the project, and a certified copy of the City of St. Louis zoning ordinance. The basis for denial of Southside rental cars concerning the building commissioner's refusal to issue an occupancy permit authorizing the petitioner to operate an automobile sales, use, no repair at 2819 Ohio Avenue in City Block number 1423.00 is as follows. The present zoning for this address is C, multiple family dwelling district. The intent of the applicable zoning provisions are to conserve the values of property throughout the city of St. Louis and to protect the character and stability of residential, business, and industrial areas. It's also to regulate and restrict the location and use of buildings, structures, and land for trade, industry, residence, and other uses, and to regulate and restrict the intensity of such uses. The applicable zoning code provisions are section 26.16.010. The uses are prohibited. No structure or land shall be used for use other than those permitted in the district in which such premises are located, unless such use is permitted by other provisions of the zoning code. Also, section 26.28.020S, use regulations and conditional use summary. Use regulations and conditional uses of the C multiple family dwelling district do not allow the appellant's proposal as stated above. Evidence of lawful nonconformity has not been presented. So in summary, the applicant is applying for an occupancy permit to operate auto rental, and then they'll be doing detailing of the rental cars at this location in the C multiple family dwelling district. Auto rental and detailing are not a permitted use in this zoning district. Therefore, a use variance would be required prior to approval. The City of St. Louis Planning and Urban Design Agency states that this site falls within the Gravois Jefferson Historic Neighborhood Plan. However, there's no specific recommendations from that plan pertaining to the site. The 2025 Strategic Land Use Plan calls this a medium intensity neighborhood, which are areas that are primarily residential with many types of housing and limited types of commercial activities. This designation actively discourages automobile-related businesses. Granting further auto-related variances on or near Gravois Avenue will continue to erode the city's ability to achieve the goals of the Strategic Land Use Plan and the eventual new zoning code. Therefore, planning staff finds the request of appeal number 20616 is not in keeping with the city's comprehensive plan. Are there any questions from the board members?
Okay, let's hear from the appellant. Mr. Vanderploem.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, let's get
Thank
you
you.
sworn in.
Yes, sir.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, can you state your name and mailing address for the record?
John Vanderploem, 2700 Gravois, St. Louis, Missouri, 63118.
Proceed with your testimony.
Yes. So on October 29th, I'm sorry, my name is John Vanderploem. I operate Southside Auto Credit and Southside Rental Cars. On October 29th, I came in front of you guys to get a variance for my rental car business to operate out of 2700 Gravois. I feel like the concern was, which you guys did grant me the variance to operate, but the issue was people were concerned about having two businesses out of the same address. As I do own the property behind me at 2819 Ohio with a parking lot, and there's a structure on the house, I thought maybe I can run my rental car business out of that structure, as I don't have a lot of incoming customers every day, and that would make my property at 2700 Gravois not have two businesses out of the same address. And then I would also have a permit to park cars on the lot across the alley from me to be in compliance. And that's it. I don't know if you
Okay.
remember talking to me a couple months ago about this.
I absolutely do.
Yes.
Yes.
So I just want to keep it where there was an issue. I felt like with two businesses out of my same address, I feel like that caused some confusion, and some people were not thrilled about that idea, even though you guys did grant me the variance. If I could just keep 2700 Gravois for my auto sales and 2819 for my rental cars, and then I would be in compliance to park cars on the vacant lot as well. Behind me, and there is a house there that we can run our office out of there. My wife runs the rental car aspect of it, and she works 2 or 3 days a week out of the office and does a lot of it on the computers.
Okay, Mary.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple questions for Mr. Vanderploem. The house that is on the current site, is that the house that's boarded up that I can see in the pictures?
It is not, because it's never been boarded up since I've owned it since 2018.
Okay.
There is a building behind me that is missing all the windows. I caught on fire, but that's not my property.
Okay. And then in the pictures, the lot appears to be paved. It is not striped or doesn't really have any kind of ballards or a fence to keep the cars from coming over the lot onto the public sidewalk or right of way. So oftentimes you'll hear the board at some point later in this testimony, they'll read off some standard conditions. And oftentimes one of the conditions is that the parking lot be striped and there be ballards to keep that from happening. Is that something you're amenable to?
Absolutely. So I will get I know you have to get an architectural permit to do that, or I think I'm using the right word. And I think I'm capable of putting 12 parking spots there. And I did get it sealed about 2 months ago, just got all the asphalt sealed. And I didn't want to stripe it until I came to you guys with everything. But yes, absolutely. I'll put ballards up. I'll put parking stops there. I will get it striped and I will keep it as organized as I can possibly do.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any board members have any questions?
I have a question, Chairman.
Yes, Mona.
Mr. Vanderpump, when you came before us the last time, you had a letter of support from the neighborhood.
Mhm.
I don't see
Yes,
that in
ma'am.
the file this time around. Do you have one by chance?
Well, I did not forward that again. I'm sorry. And then I know, I apologize. I did have one for my last one,
Can you
and I
get
did
one?
go. What'd you say?
Can you get one?
Yeah, I'd have to have my wife forward it to you. I don't know where it would be right now. Are you talking about for 2819 or for so she
2819.
she did go to the neighborhood meeting. We did join the neighborhood association 6 months ago, I should say, ballpark area. She did go to the meeting in November. She went back in December and it was their holiday party. So there's nobody to talk to, but she did talk to them in November and they said, that's fine. We're fine with the idea. We see where they're coming from. And cars have always been parked there. I was not really aware it was illegal, but I apologize for that. And nobody threw any bad ideas or ideas that we explained to them.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, Jim.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Mr. Vanderploom, for calling in today. I was not part of the board back in October, so this is my first opportunity to address any of your permitting issues. I'm a little confused, though. You said that you want to use, first of all, I want to make it clear that this hearing is only about 2819,
Yes.
issuing any kind of variance for 2819 Ohio. You want to separate sales and rental between the two lots? Is that what you want to do?
Yes, and the reason being was our last meeting, it just seemed like there was a little confusion on having two businesses out of the same building, which I understand you weren't there the last time. And I know this is about 2819. The last one was about 2700 Graveway, which is right across the alley from there. You can jump
Yeah,
across the alley to get there.
Okay.
So yes, we were just trying to separate them both onto two different parcels so there'd be no confusion on which side is sales and which side would be rental. So the cars on 2700 Graveway would primarily be auto sales. 2819 would be Southside rental cars
Okay,
on
because I
that
want to
parcel.
point out this to Mary and Evan, is the request or the application is for automobile sales at 2819.
Jim, sorry, just to clarify that, it's not for auto sales. Unfortunately, when people apply online, they're kind of like these bucket categories that they choose. And so
Right.
it's automated that it says auto sales. But if you look further in the application, it's explicit that it's for leasing and then detailing.
Okay. All right.
Yes,
Thank
because
you.
when I applied for that, like Evan just said, there was no spot. Auto rental wasn't on one of the tabs down. So they told me to do auto sales and then explain auto rental and then just detailing of just the cars. And when I say detailing, it's just a customer drops off a car, vacuum it out. I do have a garage up there. So to vacuum out the car, wash the car to get it back ready for rental. We're not going to be
Okay.
doing any kind of mechanic work or anything like that.
Okay. And a couple of things you briefly mentioned that you've already parked cars there. So I've noticed, certainly driving by yesterday, there was 4 cars parked on 2819.
Yes.
The Google Maps has 9 cars parked in there, and looks like it'd be tough to get 12 cars in there based on the pictures of 9 cars in the Google Maps. But we'll take that up later on, I guess. The building, are you going to use the building as a sales or rental office?
We would use that for our rental office. When I just threw out the number 12, I mean, whatever you guys would permit me to use, I'm fine with. I do have, like I explained last time, I have 16 rental cars and those are all out rented now. But that doesn't mean that all of a sudden one day could have 8 back. I mean, I'm not sure. But yes, we would also use the building just for our rental office. an old house. It's a 4-room house. So yes, we'd use one of the rooms as an office.
Okay. I think that's all my questions for now. Thank you.
Any other board members? Thanks, Mr. Vanderplum.
Thank you, sir.
Is there anyone here to testify in favor of this appeal? Okay, is there anyone here to testify in opposition to this appeal? Hearing none, I will read into the record exhibits. Certified copy of the zoning ordinance, appeal to the board, basis of denial, meeting notice letter, City Journal public notices, photographs, Sanborn maps, and a memo from Planning and Urban Design. And with that, I will consider this appeal having been heard. Drea, can you please read appeal number 20617?
Appeal number 20617, 3192 Watson Road, Unit 1.
Swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Again, my name is Evan Winkler, Community Development Planner for the City of St. Louis, and I'll be representing the Building Commissioner. I'm here to present evidence of an appeal to operate a mental health counseling and therapy office at 3192 Watson Road, Unit 1. I'd like to present as evidence for this case photos and aerials of the said property, plans for the project, and a certified copy of the City of St. Louis zoning ordinance. The basis for denial of Stone Counseling Services, LLC, concerning the building commissioner's refusal to issue an occupancy permit authorizing the petitioner to operate an office at 3192 Watson Road in city block number 6016.00 is as follows. The present zoning for this address is C, multiple family dwelling district. The intent of the applicable zoning provisions are to conserve the values of property throughout the city of St. Louis and protect the character and stability of residential, business, and industrial areas. It's also to regulate and restrict the location and use of buildings, structures, and land for trade, industry, residence, and other uses, and to regulate and restrict the intensity of those uses. The applicable zoning code provisions are section 26.16.010, uses are prohibited. No structure or land shall be used for use other than those permitted in the district in which such premises are located, unless such use is permitted by other provisions of the zoning code. Also, section 26.28.020S, use regulations and conditional use summary, use regulations and conditional uses of the C, multiple family dwelling district do not allow the appellant's proposal as stated above. Evidence of lawful nonconformity has not been presented. In summary, the applicant is applying for an occupancy permit to operate a counseling and therapy office at this location in the C, multiple family dwelling district. Professional offices are not a permitted use in the C district. Therefore, a use variance would be required prior to approval. The City of St. Louis Planning and Urban Design Agency states that there's no adopted neighborhood plan covering this location. However, the 2025 Strategic Land Use Plan calls this a low-intensity corridor. This designation describes areas that are more auto-oriented than the higher or medium-intensity corridors, although buildings in these areas will support people walking and taking the bus by including quality sidewalks and direct connection between buildings and sidewalks. The granting of this request would be in keeping with this designation's intent to allow community-serving institutions such as healthcare and encouraging active ground floor that are pedestrian friendly. So the planning staff finds the request of appeal number 20616 is in keeping with the city's comprehensive plan. Are there any questions from the board?
Okay, let's hear from the appellant. Mr. Stone, let's get you sworn in.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Can you state your name and mailing address for the record?
Jay Stone, 5501 Connecticut Street, St. Louis, Missouri, 63139.
Okay, proceed with your testimony.
So my wife and I bought this little house primarily because it was a dentist office. Previously, it has been converted into a house, one bedroom, which doesn't really, it sort of doesn't fit into the zoning C either because it's multifamily zoning, but is a small house. We've done some work on it to make it into an office, but we haven't completely turned it into an office until we get approval to, we're going to turn the kitchen into a kitchenette and waiting room just to make this, it's a little 4-room house. So to make it into a counseling office, we intend to be good neighbors. We already own properties in the city where we keep them up and make sure that the grass is mowed, everything is taken care of. As a counseling office, he mentioned low intensity district. I think we'll have at most 2 people coming in an hour. And that's if both my wife and I are working on the same day, which we often don't. So there's not a lot of disruption to the community and should be extremely quiet and good neighbors, I would think. We do not serve, people with extreme mental illness, if that's a concern of anyone's. These are just normal, everyday folks with anxiety, depression, things like that just need somebody to talk to. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Any board members have any questions? Yes, Mona.
What would your hours of operation be, sir?
So my wife and I both work full days, Monday and Tuesday, and that full day can be up to 8 or 9 o'clock in the evening on those days. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we're in the office from just kind of normal business hours. I would say she probably gets in at 8 occasionally. So 8 to 5 o'clock at the latest, usually on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then we're not there on the weekends.
So Monday and Tuesday, you would come in at what time, sir?
Monday, Tuesday, we would come in at 8 or 9.
So Monday and Tuesday, it's 8 to 8?
Yes, could be, or 9 to 9. 8 to 9 would be the maximum.
Okay. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 8 to 5?
Correct.
Great. Close on the weekends. And would you provide a trash dumpster in the back for commercial business?
We don't have almost any waste, but we are connected to the alley, so we don't have. Or it's a strange lot with a triangle there.
Let me restate that, sir.
Yeah.
We're going to require you to have a commercial dumpster. You could get a small one, or you can provide a written agreement with another commercial business that you can use that's within a reasonable distance of your business. You're not allowed to use the residential dumpsters because you're not paying for those. Does that make sense?
Interesting. It does make sense. Is it
Okay.
possible to do a rollout or something? That feels more disruptive to the community.
They do have some smaller rollouts with the commercial dumpster companies. So yeah, we're happy to have that, but you do have to have one.
I mean, okay. I understand.
Not an option not to.
I understand.
I mean, you can get an agreement with another commercial business that you can use theirs.
Okay, we might, yeah, that makes sense.
And you need to present that to us. That'll be part of a condition typically if we approve this. Okay.
And my reasoning is we don't have trash hardly at all. So we
Yeah,
just
but
take
you
it
have
home.
some.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So fair enough. Yeah, we've always just taken it home, but I get your point. So thank you.
Okay. And so we have your hours. We've talked about trash.
Mhm.
And parking, what's the parking situation? I don't know that there's a parking lot there, so you're just going to use street parking, is that correct?
Yeah, there's a lot of street parking available.
Okay.
I've been there several times recently and never had an issue finding a spot. So,
All right, that's all I have. Thank you.
thank you.
Deneen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Stone, this property is very cute. Very cute.
We thought so too. Yeah.
I think anyone that would come to this location would feel very much at home. So this is a very sweet location. My question for you is, why was this area appealing to you?
So I'm sitting in my office right now at Filer and Ivanhoe. And so very close to the location that we're moving to or want to move to. We really love being in this area and there are some issues with the office I'm renting now, including it's an old building and it's really cold. And the owner has a dog that isn't necessarily friendly for children and just some things that we love the space, but it would be better for us to move to someplace that, like you said, that is cute and comforting and comfortable for clients. And occasionally we have some moments here where people are not comfortable.
Okay, thank you so much for your answer.
Sure. Thank you.
Jim.
Thank you, Anthony. Mr. Stone, so the entrance, your clients would enter off of, is there a front, I guess there's a front door facing Watson and that's where you anticipate, well, where, I should ask, where would you anticipate people will enter the building?
So we have done some work to the building already under a residential building permit to put a door in that will enter into the waiting room / kitchen. What is the kitchen now? And it can still function as a kitchen if necessary, if we don't get approved. And then we've put up walls to divide what would be the living room now and the bedroom now as office space. And those can still be used as living room and bedroom so the door is facing sort of that triangle point at Scanlon. If that makes any
So it's
sense.
not, so the entranceway doesn't directly face either Watson or Scanlon. It's that connector, small connector between those two
Yeah,
streets.
if you're looking at the side of the house, I don't know if you've got that view. It's where it's where the window to the right is. We put it in that space.
Okay. So you would anticipate that most of the people will park along that connector street and not on either Watson or Scanlon.
I would anticipate people parking on Scanlon, that little connector, or Watson. I think all three would be reasonable spaces.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other board members? Thank you, Mr. Stone. Is there anyone here to testify in favor of this appeal? Mr. Patterson, you gave a thumbs up. Are you trying to testify in this appeal?
I am.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's get you sworn in, sir.
Please raise your right hand, sir. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, can you state your name and mailing address for the record?
My name's Brian Patterson. I'm at 3188A Watson. I live right next door to this location. I would like to see it move forward and be approved.
Okay. Any board members have any questions for Mr. Patterson? Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else here to testify in favor of this appeal? Okay. Is there anyone here to testify in opposition to this appeal? Hearing none, I will read into the record exhibits. A certified copy of the zoning ordinance, appeal to the board, basis of denial, meeting notice letter, City Journal public notices, photographs, Sanborn maps, memo from planning and urban design, and 1 page of signatures of those in support submitted by the petitioner. And with that, I will consider this appeal having been heard. Drea, will you please read appeal number 11992?
Appeal number 11992, 4000 Laclede Avenue, 4002 through 6 Laclede Avenue, 4008 through 12 Laclede Avenue.
Swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Again, good afternoon, board members. My name is Evan Winkler, Community Development Planner for the City of St. Louis, and I'll be representing the Building Commissioner. I'm here to present evidence of an appeal to construct a parking lot per plans at 3 parcels, 4000 Laclede Avenue, 4001 to 6 Laclede Avenue, and then 4008 to 12 Laclede Avenue. I'd like to present as evidence for this case, photos and aerials of the said property, plans for the project, and a certified copy of the City of St. Louis zoning ordinance. The basis for denial of SLLC Real Estate LLC, care of Ryan, I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher the name, but Schweisguth with Cochran Engineering, concerning the building commissioner's refusal to issue a building permit authorizing the petitioner to construct a parking lot per plans at 4000 Laclede Avenue, 4002 to 6 Laclede Avenue, and 4008 to 12 Laclede Avenue, located in city block number 3919.04. The present zoning for this address is the Central West End Form-Based District with underlined Zone J Industrial District. The intent of the applicable zoning provisions are to promote orderly and beneficial development in accordance with the optimum development of the City of St. Louis and in furtherance of the comprehensive plan for the city's development. The applicable zoning code provisions are ordinance number 69408. And evidence of lawful nonconformity has not been presented. In summary, the applicant is applying for a building permit to construct a surface parking lot per plans in the neighborhood general type 3 area of the Central West End Form-Based District. Per the regulations of the Form-Based District, the envelope standards require that the primary street setback shall be 30 feet minimum, and a side setback shall be 0 feet if it's a surface parking lot. The proposal, however, will have a primary street setback of 3.5 feet away from the property line, and then a side setback of 1 foot from the side yard property line. Therefore, 2 area variances would be required prior to approval. The envelope standards of the form-based district also call commercial parking lots in this zoning designation conditional use. So this is not a use variance, but parking lots are conditional in this designation. The City of St. Louis Planning and Urban Design Agency states that there's no adopted neighborhood plan for this location. However, the 2025 Strategic Land Use Plan calls this the Central Area West. And these are areas that are very dense with high quality pedestrian infrastructure. Development in this area should support a diverse, dense, and walkable transit-friendly environment. This designation prohibits parking to the front of the buildings and discourages parking to the side of the buildings. Thus, a variance at this location is not the designation's intent. Planning staff finds the request of appeal number 11992 is not in keeping with the city's comprehensive plan. They did add additional clarification They state that staff notes this location is within the boundaries of the Cortex West redevelopment plan area. And a redevelopment plan is not co-equal to an adopted neighborhood plan, but still carries the full endorsement of the Planning Commission. And as such, the board should dutifully consider the larger planning goals of the redevelopment corporation in its deliberation time. While the proposed surface parking falls short of the goals of the city's comprehensive plan, staff acknowledges the value in temporary activism of the parcels or activation of the parcels in order to support ongoing district-wide redevelopment efforts. And Chairman, we have James Pfister with PDA here with us. And I would like, if possible, for him to be sworn in to give further clarity on the nuances there between a redevelopment plan and an adopted neighborhood plan.
Okay. Mr. Pfister, let's get you sworn in.
I don't see him.
Shay, maybe
He
if I say
is-
something, I'll pop up.
There he is.
Ah. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, can you state your name and mailing address for the record?
James Pfister, 1520 Market Street.
Okay, proceed with your testimony.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Evan, for inviting me to share a little nuance and also opportunity to answer any questions that the board members might have. As you all know, we're in this sort of clunky interim period between having an adopted land use plan and no new zoning code yet. And while we are tasked with checking to make sure that variances are weighed against the comprehensive plan of the city of St. Louis, there are major planning efforts that don't technically fall within the comprehensive plan of the city, but are still sort of supported by the Planning Commission and worth mentioning in situations like these. So as the memo stated, a parking lot is not exactly the surface parking lot is not exactly the highest and best use here. There are some nuances here that I think could paint it in a little favorable light. First of all, to reiterate, we're within the boundaries of the Cortex West redevelopment plan area, which is a Chapter 353 redevelopment area. It's a master redevelopment plan. That was a huge undertaking. I'm sure you'll hear a little bit more about it later, but you all are familiar. It's a redevelopment plan that was put together by the city and the Planning Commission and has really been incredibly productive. So we want to acknowledge the good work of the Development Corporation and all of the work in the district. Also, in speaking with other staff and city, pardon me, partner, I just ate a bunch of carrots and I don't think that's helping me out right now. I apologize. We just wanted to make a little bit of that nuance clear. Typically, you're used to hearing us reference the strategic land use plan and the neighborhood plan itself, but this redevelopment plan, we thought bore mentioning. So if anybody's got any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Board members, any questions? Yes, Jim.
Thank you, Mr. Pfister. I keep hearing the word temporary activation. I see that written in the memo that was supplied in the package. I'm trying to find it myself right now. Could you expound on what you mean by temporary activation for a parking lot?
Sure, and I'll only reference conversations that I've had with a development partner, so I don't know the exact specifics, but I'm relaying what was heard from him, which is the ultimate goal and the ultimate land use of these parcels is not surface parking. And when you reference the redevelopment plan itself, it doesn't call for surface parking. I don't remember the exact use, but the goal is to make that much more active, build it up. But I believe that there are adjacent historic buildings that have been rehabilitated, and they're trying to attract businesses to get in there. And this surface parking is a temporary way to secure the employers and the jobs. But the way it's been communicated to me is that there's a longer term vision for replacing much of, if not all of, the surface parking already in the redevelopment area. But I'm speaking a little bit outside of my role.
Jim, there's also, I believe, people from Cortex here that when they have given the opportunity to give testimony, may be able to elaborate on the long-term goals for these parcels.
And one thing I want to, pardon me, Jim, before this leaves my brain, we know that variances by nature are not temporary, but we also are working on updating our zoning code, and we don't yet. We've got a land use lawyer working on it right now. We're not entirely sure how these variances are going to exist once the new code is adopted. So there's a number of different ways in which this use might be very temporary. We're just in, a really funky regulatory period right now. So I appreciate the care with which we're handling all of these.
And also, this is not a long-term variance for a parking lot. It is a long-term variance for setbacks, conditional use approval of a parking lot.
Yeah, right. But both types are permanent, correct, Evan?
No, conditional uses are not permanent, Jim.
Okay, apologize. Still getting my terminology straight. Okay. All right, thank you. All right, that's all I have. Thank you.
Any other board members have questions? Mona?
Yes, I'm thoroughly confused now. I thought I had a handle on it until now. Are you in favor of this or not, James?
Fortunately, my opinion doesn't matter.
Nope, I'm asking it. I'm asking it.
Oh, well, I apologize. I'm not going to give my opinion. As a staff member of the strategic land use plan.
Very well. That's the only question I had.
Any other board members have any questions? Mary? Mary? Okay, Mary, you've got your hand raised, but yes. All right. So let's hear from the appellant, Mr. Winserling.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Let's get you sworn in.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, if you could state your name and mailing address for the record.
Jeff Winserling, 4229 Maryland Avenue, 63108.
Proceed.
Hi, I guess I want to start by thanking you all for being here. I know what a obligation serving on the Board of Adjustment is, so I really appreciate you all serving in this capacity. I want to say good things about the form-based plan. I love the form-based plan. I wish more parts of the city of St. Louis had form-based plans. They are inherently a little aspirational. They're looking forward to an ideal world. What sort of arrangement of buildings would there be around our streets? When it comes to this parking setback with 30 feet, the goal of the form-based plan was to not have any surface parking that is adjacent to the sidewalk, to hide it all behind buildings. And that's why it's 30 feet. The thinking was that you could drop a townhouse or something, a liner building, something between the sidewalk and a surface parking lot. Therefore, you wouldn't see it from the street. The challenge there is that we don't live in a blank slate. The property that we own, the Carriage Works, immediately to the east of the target site, is a sidewalk to alley building. It's a 1908 vintage carriage factory that we're converting into office, showroom, and storefront space. It spans the entire depth of the lot. So we don't have the ability to put the parking behind the building. We need to put it next to the building. So since we're going to build the parking lot next to the building, then it's just a question of what kind of parking lot does it look like? We would like to have a parking ratio. The way I talk about in real estate circles is in spaces per 1,000 square feet of office space, of retail space, et cetera. We'd like to have a parking ratio a little over 3 per 1,000. When we designed the parking lot the first time, it was 96 spaces. So we own enough property at the east end of our complex to park about 18 cars at the east end. So whatever parking is parked at the west end is going to be complemented by the parking at the east end. Together, we were going to have about 114 spaces when we first laid it out. MSD was not interested in our representations about the parking lot being temporary. I'll talk about that more in a moment. They're requiring us to do stormwater detention, and then they had us make it bigger after we drew it the first time. And so our parking lot is currently laid out as 81 spaces to the west and 18 to the east. That's 99 parking spaces for our 33,486 square feet of building. So just about 2.96 per 1,000. So we're just about 3 per 1,000. If we had to set the parking lot back the 30 feet required, we would be down at like 2.5 per 1,000. We'd lose 14 spaces or something like that. I didn't engineer it, but just looking at the drawings, that's what it appears to be. So it's important that we meet the needs of our tenants. A board bill was passed through the HUD's committee at the Board of Aldermen yesterday for a partial sales tax rebate for an anchor tenant that is going to move into our complex from Westport, bringing 40 some odd employees with them, and payroll and sales taxes. They generate, they're a furniture wholesaler, distributor. So they generate sales taxes. Back to the temporary nature, we need to have parking for our tenants as long as we have tenants. So we need to have a perpetual solution to parking. The reason the parking lot is considered to be temporary is that we think the conditions will allow the development of a more intensive development of this lot and the lot west of it, and that those more intensive developments will include structured parking. And structured parking can then accommodate the parking needs of that development and the Carriage Works development also. So I'd love to be the person doing that project. Now is not a great time to be doing anything, as you may have noticed in the world of development. But the cycle will change and opportunities will come along. And so we have an agreement for a 10-year lease with options to extend with Cortex. And our hope is that before that 10-year lease ends, that we will be redeveloping this site to include structured parking that serves all properties.
Mr. Winseling, is there any agreement between you guys that they'll actually build you structured parking in the development?
No, we are leasing the property from Cortex. We are constructing the parking lot, and we're as the tenant under the lease. We're the only entity that can build anything on this site for a decade. Beyond that time, if our lease ends and some other developer comes along, we are simply gambling that that developer will see the benefit of building enough parking to serve our building.
Okay. I'm informed at this point. I know where you're at. Thanks.
Any other board members have any questions? Yes, Jim.
So when did you when did you realize that 30-foot setback is a requirement? I assume that somebody knew that going into designing the parking lot?
I don't think we did. I don't think we did. I guess that would be logical, but I guess we just didn't think about it. You know, we operate a 50-unit loft apartment building across the street that is also Zone J. So we're accustomed to a certain amount of flexibility within the city zoning code, that when things don't fit, our experience has always been that we come to the Board of Adjustment or a plan commission on occasion, and they see what a reasonable thing to do is. So I think we designed what we thought was reasonable. I don't recall knowing about the 30-foot setback when we started. We might have, well, yeah, if we thought we were going to have to do a 30-foot setback, we probably would have gone to Cortex and requested more of their lot, because the only way to get back to a larger number of parking spaces would be to lease more ground from them. And that's a conversation we have not had.
Okay, and could you describe a little more what happened on the HUD's committee yesterday at the Board of Aldermen? Could you?
Sure. So Alderman Browning proposed introduced a bill that would provide a sales tax rebate to our anchor tenant, the company called CI Select. They're an office furniture dealer, that will refund to them 50% of their remitted sales taxes up to $1 million over 10 years. I think right now that number is about $135,000 a year is what it would be. So in less than 8 years, that would be paid off. And then those incremental sales taxes would flow to the city. The reason it was structured that way, well, there's a couple of different reasons. One is that it's tenant-based. It's not a development incentive. We didn't go to the alderman and ask for anything. We didn't go to the Board of Aldermen and SLDC and say, we want blank, help us make our development deal make sense. The tenant instead went in and it asked SLDC what sort of opportunity there might be to help induce them to move into the city. The delta of I looked it up once and then I found one answer. So I'm under oath. This is the best of my knowledge. So the sales taxes they pay in Maryland Heights today and the sales tax rate they would face at this location later this year, the difference is about 1.1%. They'd be paying an additional 1.1% in sales taxes. That's based on my research. When I talked to the president of the company, she actually thinks it's higher, that the delta between their current sales tax rate and the new sales tax rate is even higher. But even if it's only 1.1%, they would be creating a disadvantage to themselves by moving into the city. Everything they sell is going to cost 1.1% more than what it costs when they're in Maryland Heights. Their alternative property that they were looking at, their next favorite property after ours, was in Creve Coeur, and it had a similar sales tax situation. So SLDC came up with this solution of the partial sales tax rebate that allows them to close most of that gap, or even to close the whole gap based upon whose assessment of the delta is correct. But then they're still paying the incremental payroll taxes. It's a working showroom. So they have architects and interior designers come to their space to see things all the time. In addition to, they have 10 events a year or something where they're bringing people into their space. So the neighborhood is going to benefit from all this additional traffic. It's going to benefit from the additional people in the building who will be going out to lunch and stuff. And the city is still coming out ahead over what it's getting from this company now. Right now, it gets basically nothing. It will be getting the incremental payroll taxes. It'll get the other half of the sales taxes until such time as Cortex may create a project. Cortex has a claim on 50% of the economic activity taxes in its district. those funds will flow to the city until such time as Cortex creates a project that would be funded through that.
Okay, thank you. And just to be clear, that bill still needs to work its way through the full board of aldermen.
Yes, it was approved unanimously at the HUD's committee, so that means it's going to be on the consent calendar for the rest of its way through the board.
Okay.
I guess I should also mention, you didn't ask, but I'll mention, the building has been vacant since 2013. We have been trying to find tenants for this building since 2013. We tried initially industrial tenants because it had been industrial use, and found very early on that the cost of bringing the building up to code was going to push our space out of the competitive rental range. We couldn't rent it for what it would cost to get the building up to code as an industrial building. So we had to go to a more intensive use. And after years of trying and a lot of close misses and a lot of not so close misses, we're finally getting there. But we won't get there without the parking.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Windsor. That's all I have, Anthony.
Any other board members have any questions? Thank you, Mr. Winserling. Is there anyone here to testify in favor of this appeal? Adam Treaster, let's get you sworn in.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay.
So,
can you
go ahead.
state your name and mailing address for the record.
Yeah, Adam Treaster, 1200 Market Street. I'm Michael Browning's legislative assistant, the alderman for the 9th Ward. I just wanted to make sure that Michael sent a very late letter to Drea in support of this, and if she would be able to read the letter of support out loud, that would be his request. I can also summarize it if needed.
Yeah, we'll have to search for it unless you just want to summarize it. We don't have that stuff open right now. But
Sure. So the alderman is in support of granting this variance. There was some discussion last night. Jeff went to the neighborhood association meeting, and there was some discussion about this regarding the setback. Michael is open to sort of a compromise of the 30-foot setback versus the 3.5 proposed, making some sort of middle ground, 12 to 16-foot setback. That might open up some room for some sort of vegetative screening or other screening between the sidewalk and the parking lot.
Any board members have any questions? Thank you, Adam. Rob.
I guess you're
Let's
okay.
get you sworn in.
Please raise your right hand, sir. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Can you state your name and mailing address for the record?
Yes, I am Rob Soti, the Vice President of District Operations at Cortex, mailing address 4240 Duncan Avenue, Suite 200.
Proceed with your testimony.
Yeah, thank you everyone for your time today. I just wanted to say that Cortex overwhelmingly supports this project. It activates a much needed portion of the district in a long vacant building. And we're eager to see Jeff and his team fill it with somebody that's going to be bringing a business into the city of St. Louis. Most notably, one of the seventh largest woman-owned business in St. Louis, which really aligns with our mission of accelerating inclusive economic growth. And I'm happy to answer any questions as it pertains to Cortex's longer term plan for this area. But currently, we're just focused on creating density, and this is the first step in doing that.
Any board members have any questions? Mary.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Did I hear you say that or maybe you're not the correct person to ask, but did I hear someone say that there was going to be some changes to the plan, that they were going to compromise on the front yard setback?
I believe Adam
Adam actually mentioned, based on the meeting with the neighborhood association yesterday, that the alderman was open to a compromise.
Okay, so I just want to remind the board that you're granting a variance based on the plans before you. So if there are changes to those plans, we'll need to continue this and have an opportunity to review the new plans.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any board members have any questions? Thank you, Mr. Soty. Is there anyone else here in favor of this appeal? Is there anyone here in opposition to this appeal?
I am. I'm trying to raise my hand.
Mr. Bose?
Yeah, sorry. I'd like to speak in opposition.
Okay, let's get you sworn in.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, can you state your name and mailing address for the record?
Richard Bose, 5825 Big Riverville, 63112.
Proceed with your testimony.
Thank you. I'm speaking out in opposition because form-based code calls for a 3 to 8 story building. So the community has said what they wanted, and this bears no resemblance to that. If you really need parking, I would encourage you to build a 3 to 8 story building. Cortex can issue tax incentives to help facilitate that. Something else that hasn't been mentioned is the available street parking. Amongst the empty lots and the appellant's building, there's about 40 angled parking spaces along Laclede. So with that and the 18 to the east, there's 58 spots for, if I heard right, 40 employees. Also, our city doesn't need another stormwater runoff generator nor heat island, especially after the tornado and all the tree coverage we lost. I recognize the existing building occupies the whole lot. Well, that's because when it was built, not everyone was so card dependent. And in the, intervening 120 some odd years, our government has fostered more and more card dependencies. So while I understand the appellant and the tenant's perspective that they need parking, we as a community and the government need to start making different decisions. And I'll end by saying I think we just started another war for oil, and I think our city should not be complicit in that by enabling yet more and more car use and ownership. Thanks.
Any board members have any questions? Jim?
I'm sorry, I did not hear Richard's address when it broke up when he was giving his address. May I ask for it again?
5825 DeGiverville, 63112.
DeGiverville?
DeGiverville.
DeGiverville.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Any other board members have any questions? Thank you, Mr. Bose. Is there anyone else here to testify in opposition to this appeal? Okay, Evan, can you read into the record the letter that the alderman sent?
Sure. To whom it may concern, I am writing in support of appeal number 11992 concerning the parking lot proposed at 4000 Laclede Avenue, 4002 to 6 Laclede Avenue, and 4008 to 12 Laclede Avenue. My apologies for the late note, but we were able to discuss this proposal at the West Pine Laclede Neighborhood Association just last night. The community had a robust discussion and ultimately came to the conclusion that a parking lot in this location would not be objectionable given certain conditions. The variances requested concerning setbacks were a particular discussion, and I offer my support today with some preferences. While the code requires a setback of 30 feet for a parking lot, the developer has provided a satisfactory explanation why this is unnecessary and detrimental to their purposes. That being said, a 5-foot setback seems too small, and I would be supportive of a compromise somewhere between those two numbers, allowing for more space for vegetation, native plants, and perhaps a couple of trees to help screen the parking lot from the street and sidewalk. I have no objection to the other variances requested regarding the setback from the alley. Additionally, the community also expressed a desire for plantings on the west side of the parking lot to help screen it from view of adjacent lot. With these recommendations, I offer my support for the variances needed so that this lot can be utilized to provide parking for the new businesses moving in soon next door. Sincerely, Michael Browning, 9th Ward Alderman, City of St. Louis.
Thanks, Evan. Any board members have any questions regarding the letter?
I have a question, Evan. If we make a recommendation for a change on a setback of what's being presented to us, does that have to go back
Yes.
to
If there's any
May I
change to the
finish?
plan at all, because of the way it's posted. So any changes to the plan have to go back.
Jeff? How would that affect your situation with the development of this building and your tenant at this time? If you were to be delayed an additional 90 days, because that's probably what you're looking at.
I think it's a big problem. We have a timeline we need to meet in order to deliver. The tenant's lease is expiring at their current location. They need to be out by a certain date. So we need to be completing their tenant finish. We need to start their tenant finish work in February. If they don't have the guarantee of parking because we don't know the outcome of this process, I think it might break the whole thing. I think it might break the whole deal. The parking lot, as you see laid out, reflects the city standards for parking spaces. The city requires spaces to be 18 by 9, and for drive aisles that are perpendicular, when the parking is 90 degree, for drive aisles of 22 feet. So if we lost, so we're currently set back 5 feet. If we lost 10 more feet, we still lose 14 spaces. If we lose 15 feet, we lose 14 spaces. It's once we get into that increment, and we can get into it a little bit, maybe we take 4 inches or something out of each space, but we can't be moving the north setback by feet and still get the number of parking spaces we need. I guess I should mention also that we have to meet the needs of this tenant we know, which is the office tenant, but we also have 4 storefronts, one of which is going to be opening, they say late May, early June. It's a company, it's going to be a tequila and taco stand called Chico Bueno. They'll be at the far east end of our complex. They're going to have parking requirements. And then there are 3 storefronts that we don't have tenants yet for that will also require parking. So we really can't get the number. It's a big problem for the number to drop below approximately where we are now.
What do we have right now?
We are at 81 in this lot. And 18, there's a chance maybe we get a 19th space east of the building. So we're almost exactly 100 now for 33,486 square feet of rentable area. And yes, there is street parking. Street parking is great, especially for those retail customers. But for office users, off-street is very important as well. And for the retail users, I mean, if you think you're doing a lot of business, you want to be able to say to people, we have off-street parking. And if you can't find anything out front, there is off-street parking. So it's important for all of our tenants that we get parking spaces of approximately this number.
Anthony.
Oh, I guess I should, I'm sorry, I hate to add without being asked, but if we had another 10 feet of setback, what are we going to do with it? Like plant grass or something? So right now we're planting a hedge, essentially, a planted hedge between the sidewalk and the parking lot. At the northwest corner, there's a larger area that's a little bigger mulch and shrubs area. But if we had 10 more feet of it, I'm not too sure. We don't want to make it so dense that people in the parking lot don't feel like people on the sidewalk can see them, and vice versa. For security purposes, we want people to feel like it's open, that there's the ability to see from one to the other. So even if we had another 10 feet of buffer, we'd likely just sod it because we don't want too dense an obstruction between the parking lot and the street.
Makes sense. Thank you.
One thing, Jeff, actually the city's requirements are 8.5 feet by 18. Does that change anything for you? I just quickly looked over the plan, but
going down to 8.5 would allow us. You can see the west side of the lot there. There's 8 spaces. If we saved 6 inches by 48 inches, we could pull back 4 more feet. Yeah, we could do that. I'd kind of like to use those 4 feet if possible to clean up the south end. We haven't talked about this yet, but the alley actually goes from being 15 feet wide to 20 feet wide on our back property line, on the back property line of the parking lot. So that's why you see that hitch in the property line. I would like to straighten that out. And if we were going to gain 4 feet or even 2 feet by having narrower spaces, that's where I would want to. And I'm sure I say that 4 feet, but that's assuming that we could take the same 6 inches out of that row of 20 spaces there, which the city still wants them to be 18. So
Right.
unless they let us do 17 and a half there, we wouldn't really get the full savings. But anyway, if we're able to do a little juggling, I'd like to clean up the rear because of that awkward alley phenomenon.
Gotcha. Okay. And
May I ask Mr. Winsley one last question?
sure.
So the parallel or the diagonal parking spaces, or is Lendl, sorry, is the Laclede going to lose all those parking spaces, the entire length of your property?
Well, actually, they're still shown on the drawing. My goal, actually, and I've started a process with Cortex and with the alderman and with the neighborhood stabilization office to try to get the angle parking moved to the other side of the street, at least in the center of the block. What we have now is angle parking on the south side, parallel on the north. But our loft building on the north side of the street has windowsills that are 8 feet, 7.5 feet off the ground. So there's no sort of interaction between the sidewalk and the building. Whereas our building on the south side of the street has storefronts all along it. And I think that for people who are sitting at a sidewalk table, at a cafe or restaurant, that's just a lot more comfortable to have a parallel parked car next to your table than to have someone backing in 45 degrees to your table while you sit there. So I'm hoping to affect that change. It won't materially change the number of parking spaces on the street. It would change the arrangement. It'd be parallel on the south side.
Well, I
Okay.
guess it didn't really answer my question. Are we going to lose those spots?
No, there's a curb cut. The spaces are interrupted by a curb cut now, and we are going to move the curb cut. So even if the flip that I just described does not happen, the number of spaces should remain unchanged. I can't swear that, we won't get too close to a fire hydrant and that wipes out another space or something, but broadly, they'll be approximately the same.
That's the vision. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Mr. Winsley? Hearing none, I will read into the record exhibits, certified copy of the zoning ordinance, appeal to the board, basis of denial, meeting notice letter, City Journal public notices, photographs, Sanborn maps, Cultural Resources Office review signed by Bob Bettis, memo from Planning and Urban Design, email letter of opposition from Matt Naglich, letter of support from Sam Fiorello, President and CEO of Cortex Innovation District. And with that, I will consider this appeal having been heard.
And a letter of support from the alderman.
I'm sorry, and a letter of support from the alderman that was read into the record. Drea, can you please read appeal number 11993?
Appeal number 11993, 4164 South Grand Avenue.
Swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Again, good afternoon, board members. My name is Evan Winkler, Community Development Planner for the City of St. Louis, and I'll be representing the Building Commissioner. I'm here to present evidence of an appeal to the Board of Public Services decision to revoke a conditional use permit with conditions to operate a convenience store with cooking and carry out food, no liquor, at 4164 South Grand. I'd like to present as evidence for this case, photos and aerials of the said property, and a certified copy of the City of St. Louis zoning ordinance. First, I'll be reading the conditional use permit. Then I'll be reading the revocation letter, and finally the appeal. On May 8th, 2018, Office of the Secretary, 300 City Hall, conditional use permit number 125755. Permission is hereby granted. St. Louis Meat Market LLC, care of Malik Muhammad, to occupy 4164 South Grand as a convenience store with cooking and carry out food, no liquor, change of ownership as authorized by the subject to the provisions of section 26.80.010 and or 26.80.060 of the revised code and subject to the attached conditions. Should you feel aggrieved by our decision or any part thereof, you may appeal within 30 calendar days of the date of this notice to the Board of Adjustment, room 400, City Hall. For your convenience, there's included with this notice an application for appeal. By order of the Board of Public Service, May 8th, 2018, signed by the Secretary of the Board, Sharice D. Jones. The conditions, number 1, the applicant shall establish a trash removal contract through a private source, schedule for regular pickups, and maintain the entire premises of the business in a clean and orderly appearance at all times. Condition number 2, there shall be no vending, ATM machines, or payphones on the exterior of the premises at any given time. Condition number 3, there shall be no sale or consumption of liquor or alcohol or non-intoxicating beer on the premises at any given time. Condition number 4, there shall be no sale of items that can be used or are intended for use as drug paraphernalia, as defined in ordinance number 68404 or its successor ordinances, including but not limited to food scales, glass tubes, disposable lighters with pop-off tops, steel scrubbing pads and screens, rolling papers, ephedrine or pseudoephedrine, diet supplements, sleep aids, bath salts, or other substitutes for illegal drugs. In addition, there should be no sale of cigars or cigarillos commonly used or adapted for use involving a controlled substance. Examples of which include, but are not limited to, the following: Phillies, Dutch Masters, White Owl, Swisher Sweets, Splitterillos, Backwoods, Optimo, Garcia y Vega, and Game. Number 5 is there shall be no temporary signage on the premises or posted to the exterior or interior of the windows or doors of the establishment at any given time. Number 6, the applicant must apply for and receive a permit from the City of St. Louis Building Division before posting permanent signage, and the permanent signage must be approved by the Office of the Zoning Administrator before being installed. Number 7, over-the-counter medication shall be sold in original packaging only and in accordance with all applicable laws. There should be no sale of over-the-counter liquid medications in individual doses or servings. And number 8, premises will not become a nuisance property pursuant to ordinance number 68535 or its successor ordinances. And then on October 29th, 2025, a revocation of a conditional use permit number 125755-RH. Dear Mr. Mohammed, on October 28th, 2025, pursuant to section 26.100.030 of the revised code of the City of St. Louis, the Board of Public Service voted to revoke the conditional use permit number 125755 issued to St. Louis Meat Market LLC, care of Malik Mohammed, to occupy 4164 South Grand Boulevard to operate a convenience store with cooking and carry out food, no liquor. Conditional use permit number 125755 is hereby revoked by order of the Board of Public Service on October 28, 2025. Any person or persons jointly aggrieved by any decision of the Board of Public Service or any officer, department, board, or bureau of the municipality may appeal this decision of the Board of Adjustment pursuant to section 26.84.040 of the revised code of the City of St. Louis. Such an appeal must be filed within 30 days of the mailing of this notice. The appeal is made by completing the attached Board of Public Service and the Board of Adjustment appeal form specifying the grounds. Respectfully, Michelle Knox, Secretary to the Board of Public Service. And then appeal from the decision of the Board of Public Service comes now, St. Louis Meat Market LLC, and says that on the 29th day of October 2025, a conditional use permit was revoked by the Board of Public Service that authorized the operation of a convenience store at 4164 South Grand, St. Louis, Missouri, 63118. The Board of Public Service revoked the conditional use permit for said occupancy, and the petitioner hereby appeals from the revocation of the permit for the following reasons. The decision lacks substantial evidence. The issues cited were corrected. The board heard evidence on issues not cited in the letter. The hearing lacked due process, and the decision is arbitrary, capricious, and based on illegal factors. My $200 appeal fee is attached. I understand this fee is non-refundable this 19th day of November, 2025. Signed by the petitioner's owner agent. Looks like J. Well, I can't read the signature, but it's circled, it says owner's agent, and then CC J. Kanzler. So with that, if the board doesn't have any questions for me, Dre and I went out there yesterday to do an investigation, and she is prepared to explain those findings in your memo. So Laura, if we could get Dre sworn in, please.
Absolutely.
You'll hear her on my screen, but she has her own video.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, Drea, can you state your name and mailing address for the record?
My name is Andrea Gutierrez, lead zoning specialist for the city of St. Louis, 1200 Market Street, room 400.
Thank you. Proceed.
Thank you. On October 27th, the Board of Public Service revoked the conditional use permit 125755. An investigation was conducted on January 14, 2026, around 2:10 p.m. as a follow-up for compliance to a conditional use permit with conditions for a convenience store with cooking and carry-out restaurant, no liquor, change of ownership at 4164 South Grand Boulevard. This case can be referenced by AOP-2435-18 in BPS number 125755 with 8 conditions. The following conditions will be violated per the investigation. Condition number 4, there shall be no sale of items that can be used or intended for use as drug paraphernalia as defined in ordinance number 68404 or its successor ordinance, including but not limited to food scales, glass tubes, disposable lighters with pop-offs, tops, steel scrubbing tabs and screens, rolling papers, ephedrine or ephedrine, diet pills, sleep aids, bath salts, or other substitutes for illegal drugs. In addition, there shall be no sale of cigars or cigarillos commonly used for or adapted for use involving a controlled substance. Examples of which include but are not limited to the following: Phillies, Dutch Masters, White Owl, Swisher Sweets, Spilleritos, Backwoods, Optimal, Garcia and Vega, and Game. Upon the investigation, we were there. The petitioner was in violation. In the case, there were liquid jazz total detox drinks, THC, drug paraphernalia, grinders for weed. Behind the counter, there was more jazz total detox drinks, rolling papers, sleep aids, Advil PM, and Tylenol PM, cigarillos, Dutch Masters, Game, and Swisher Sweets, etc. They were also in violation of condition number 6. The applicant must apply for and receive a permit from the City of St. Louis Building Division before posting permanent signage, and the signage must be approved by the Office of the Zoning Administrator before being installed. There is a neon light marijuana leaf in the middle window, and an application for 4 window signs and 3 wall signs, non-illuminated, was applied for on October 16, 2025. The marijuana leaf neon light was not part of their permit request. The permit has not been issued as the applicant was called and notified that they need to revise their drawings.
Okay. Any board members have any questions for Evan or Drea?
I got a quick one.
Yes.
Drea, so when you went back out, these number 4 and number 6 were still in violation?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mary.
No question. I think it was just answered from Mona. So,
Okay.
thanks.
Any other board members? Okay.
I'm sorry, Chairman. I have a question or a request. Evan, you read a statement from the appellant, right?
The appeal form, correct? Yep.
So can you just please, if you would, can you read that one more time?
Sure. So the petitioner hereby appeals from the revocation of the permit for the following reasons. Reason number 1 says the decision lacks substantial evidence. Number 2 says the issues cited were corrected. Number 3 says the board heard evidence on issues not cited in the letter. Number 4 says the hearing lacked due process. And then the decision is arbitrary, capricious, and based on illegal factors.
Okay, thank you so much. I just wanted to make sure I heard that right the first time. Thanks.
Any other board members have any questions? Okay, let's hear from the appellant.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to start off briefly, if that's okay.
That is fine, Mr. Kanzler. Let's get you sworn in.
Swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
And then can you state your name and mailing address for the record?
Certainly. Jay Kanzler, Kanzler. My mailing address is 2001 South Big Bend, St. Louis, Missouri, 63117. I'm an attorney for the appellant, and I just want to be very, very brief here because I want the board to hear from my client and any questions they have. What I would say is that since being contacted about these issues back in 2025, they have attempted to and believe that they have addressed all of the issues. I think that if you were to kind of take a look at the pictures from a year ago and look at the pictures of the place now, it's night and day what they have done. And I'll let my client tell you about those. I don't know about this. I never say that Ms. Gutierrez was wrong, but I'm not familiar with this marijuana sign. I've been given pictures of the location, and I don't see it. And if there was something there, it would have been taken down. But so that's the one thing I will address is item 4, and this has been the most difficult, I think, condition, not 4, but these cigarillos and these things. A lot of this came into play in the early days before marijuana was legal. And so there has been a progression over time about cigarillos and kind of the Dutch masters and so forth, which were considered paraphernalia at one time because marijuana was illegal. And some people did use it, but marijuana is not illegal anymore. And so many of the stores, I mean, there are hundreds of stores in the city of St. Louis that sell cigars as tobacco. And what the conditions always were is there are no loose cigarettes, they sell them in, the packages. If it's a 3-pack, you get it. The same thing when we talk about the paraphernalia, that is as it relates to the drugs. For example, Tylenol PM is not illegal. I mean, you buy that everywhere. That's not paraphernalia. That's not drug use. And so the THC drinks, those are legal by state law. And I don't think my client thinks they haven't, but they are because they come under, and you'll see it all the time out there. The state in Jefferson City and in the city and in the county, they're talking about, how do we do this? And they've just not been able to come up with a kind of a new way of regulating this. But these drinks, these infused drinks, just do not violate any law. Again, they're perfectly legal. So if at the end of the day, there was something, they're not going to win or lose based on the sale of Tylenol PM, or it is a little unfair not to allow them to sell some of the tobacco items. But they would gladly get rid of that. But we have to be consistent. And if it is just, listen, Ms. Gutierrez says these are the things they have to be removed, they will be out of the store this afternoon. But I think they have absolutely tried
Jay,
to comply.
can I interrupt you for a moment?
You may.
It's not about what Ms. Gutierrez says. It's about the conditions that were already put on this business prior. And it's not about what she says, it's what the board previously said. And it wasn't even the Board of Adjustments that put these conditions on. And it's also what they agreed to when they took over the business. My understanding is that they signed off on these conditions when they took over this business, and they agreed to the conditions when they signed off on the occupancy of gaining this business. And there is an avenue, and I'm pretty sure you know this avenue, sir, because you've been before us like many, many times, that if they don't like the conditions that they've agreed to, that there is an avenue to change those conditions. Aren't you aware of that, sir?
I'm aware of it, Miss Parsley, but they were not. I did not represent
Okay,
them at the time.
right, but you're representing them now,
In
and
this
you know
action
that
that you have brought to
you're,
revoke their,
Yeah, that's not the same
this,
thing.
this is different, and I'm just saying that you know what the procedure is, and that you could have educated them when they hired you so many days or however long it has been. So you're kind of attacking us, is how I see that.
no,
And
absolutely
Mrs.
not.
Gutierrez did not put this list, and that's what you're saying to us on record, and it is not her. And I just wanted to be clear about that. She is
And
the secretary, or no, I apologize. She's not secretary anymore. She is the zoning. I apologize of her exact nature on this particular position, so I'm not
Zoning
going to state it.
specialist.
Thank you, Anthony, zoning specialist. I just wanted to set the record straight. Thank you.
so my point in using that was by way of example. If it's the board, if it's anybody, they say, these are the items, then it just happened to be Ms. Gutierrez that noted those items in her examination. Second of all, yes, I think, I did not represent them in all the years leading up to this. I think that it's an obligation of the board to be consistent. I think it's an obligation of the city to enforce its regulations consistently, and the same for all people, regardless of the size or whether they're a single business or a larger business. And this group has really tried to do that. Yes, they did agree to those things, Ms. Parsley. And if I were to get by this particular assignment for them, engagement for them, then we would possibly look to amend. But I can't do that right now until we get through this. So at this time, I'd just like to introduce my client, Mr. Hesham Al-Riabi.
Hi.
Mr. Riabi, let's get you sworn in.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
Okay, can you state your name and mail-in address for the record?
Hisham Ariabi, mailing address is 6. Hold on, what was the address? 4164 South Grand Boulevard, St. Louis, Missouri 63118.
Okay, proceed with your testimony.
Okay, so whenever I got you guys came over to my store last year, 2025, you guys told me you had some issues with the place, and everything you guys told me to change or fix has been changed. I have added more cameras. I have added more lights to the parking lot. I cleaned up the parking lot. I changed the whole front of the store. You can see it before and after picture. And there's no more signs anywhere close to the glass or anywhere. And anything you guys said that I'm not allowed to sell has been taken down, like NyQuil, Tylenol, anything that can help with drugs, scale, torch, all that has been taken down since day one. Since you guys told me I'm not allowed to sell it, so I took it down. And I do have a security now. Since then, I hired a security company, and they've been working for me ever since then. And yeah, I've just been trying to make the place looks better and just work with you guys, whatever you guys want me to do, I'm willing to do.
It could be whatever you guys think is right. I'm with you guys.
Supporters.
Oh, I tried to call the supporters in the city. I left 3 voicemail and they never called me back. One time the lady answered and she said, "We'll give you a call back when we have time," but they never did.
List of names.
Oh, one more thing. I'm sorry, I forgot one more thing. Ever since this happened, I believe I started at the beginning of the 2026. I told the neighborhood, all the customer that comes in, I told them what's going on with the store and they're doing this and that. And they come up with the list. I have over 300 signature from the people that comes to the store. They have their name, address, their phone number, and they're saying that they're supporting me. The store should not be removed or whatever. I can provide you guys with this as soon as you guys want.
Any board members have any questions? Yes, Jim.
Thank you, Anthony. Sir, the memo, I see a memo that was issued just yesterday with a number of pictures that were just taken yesterday that seem to be items that are prohibited. So I guess I'm having a real hard time understanding how you said that everything has been resolved when these pictures were just taken yesterday of items on the shelves.
So the only thing I still have on the shelves that you guys don't want me to sell, which is the rollers, the cigar rollers. I have talked to my lawyer yesterday and he told me to leave them until we have this meeting today. And if you guys not okay with it, I can call the store and have them take them down right now. I have no problem with that.
But the memo outlines a number of items that are still on the shelves, and there's several pictures. I guess I can't read all the items, but and as was briefly mentioned by Mr. Kanzler, there's a sign in the window as of yesterday of a marijuana leaf. So I'm just having a hard time reconciling that you've resolved everything when I see these pictures as of yesterday.
Yeah, that marijuana sign we have ordered from Amazon. It says vape smoke shop. I did not see the logo or whatever. I think they misprinted but my worker have put it up recently and I just contact him to take it down. It does say vape smoke shop. It doesn't say weed on it.
I see that, but to me, it's clearly a marijuana leaf.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
that's my fault.
What about all the items here? I'm looking at, I assume that you received this memo that I'm looking at, follow-up investigation?
Not at all, sir. I'm sorry, but no. All they said yesterday was the rollers. That's the only thing they had found in the store that I'm not allowed to sell. Whoever.
Mary, Drea, Evan, can you help me out here? Who all has seen this letter?
So Jim, if you take a look, you will see that stuff's dated from yesterday, and the appellant would not have had that available.
Okay. But it's still reasonable for me to use this as a line of questioning, is it not, Anthony?
Absolutely, but the items that yes, the items that are there are clearly still there. He just wouldn't be able to respond to what those items are.
Okay, I'll go on record saying that it appears that a number of items are still on the shelves at the store as of yesterday around 2 p.m. and that there was a sign that has a marijuana leaf on the outline that was in the window.
Yes, and Drea did read into the record all of the items that were found to be
okay. Right.
Mary.
Thank you.
Thank you, Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this question is, I apologize if I get your last name incorrect. Arabi, Mr. Arabi?
You got it.
So, are you selling marijuana here?
No, not
Okay,
in the store.
because I want to take the opportunity to remind you that you would need to be a licensed marijuana dispensary licensed by the state of Missouri
Yes,
in
ma'am.
order to sell marijuana. So in that case, it's not just that you have a sign up that you don't have a permit for, but your sign, while it says vape shop, has a marijuana leaf. And since you don't sell marijuana, as you've just testified, that's an off-premise advertising sign.
I'm sorry, that's my fault again.
Of our sign.
It will be taken down.
Thank you.
No problem.
Any other board members have any questions?
Can I mention something? Sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, one more thing. If you guys go on Google review, from now to a year, all my reviews are 5-star and up. All my reviews, they're posting pictures of family in the stores. Like I said, like it's a family business. All neighborhood coming there with their child to get food, drinks. You know, like it's a safe place for a family to come to. And you guys can see all the recent review on Google. They're all 5 stars and up.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Arabi. Is there anyone here to testify in favor of this appeal or in opposition to this revocation? Ms. Bordeaux.
Hi, can you all hear me?
Yes, we hear you just
Okay, let
fine.
me figure out how to lower my hand. In my bedroom it's pretty dark, so I'm gonna put a light on. Hi.
Hi, Ms. Bordeaux. Let's get you sworn in.
Okay.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you.
My name is, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Give us
Okay.
your name and mailing address.
My name is Inez Bordeaux. I live at 3829 Merrimack.
And proceed.
Okay, thank you. Like I said, my name is Inez Bordeaux. I am the committee woman of the 3rd Ward. I'm also the committee woman of Senate District 5, and I am here to, testify in support of the appeal. I have lived in the 3rd Ward for over 10 years. For the last 9 of them, I lived less than a mile away from the Village 2, where I currently live, which I've been living here almost a year, is only 2 blocks from the Village 2. And let me just start by saying, like, the food is really, really, really good at the Village 2. I often send my 2 teenagers up there when none of us feel like cooking, like to get dinner, and the staff and the owner, the folks involved with the Village 2 have been nothing but kind, considerate, respectful, and really supportive of the community. And the Village 2 provides an important resource. We live in a food desert. in the third ward. And so forgive me for being a little emotional, but we live in a food desert. And having a place in the third ward where people can go get maybe not the healthiest food, but definitely delicious food that's going to fill them up, and provide a place where folks can go get cereal, milk, a place where we can send our kids to like get snacks and things like that. That is an important anchor business in the third ward. And with that being said, I also just want to name that there is a small but very vocal group of people in the third ward who have been systemically targeting businesses by Black and brown people, by businesses that don't conform to their ideology of like pro-policing, mass policing, pro-surveillance, over surveillance of our neighborhoods. And so those folks have made a concerted effort to get those businesses out. I know that it's tempting to blame businesses or business owners when it's tempting to blame business owners for the things that happen in our neighborhoods or hold those folks accountable when the real villains are the socioeconomic status that many people in our communities are living with. So when you see a lot of traffic outside of the Village 2, when you see unhoused people, that's not the owner's problem. That is the socioeconomic conditions that part of our city lives in. Oh, okay. Bear with me. I got a couple more notes. The fact that all of this is over, the fact that the Village 2 sells cigarellos is diabolical to me. Less than 40 yards away, there is a gas station that sells cigarellos. I know, I just bought some there yesterday. Less than a mile down the street, there is a dispensary that sells cigarellos and all of the other things. Weed is legal in the state of Missouri. Cigarellos should not be a problem for this business to be selling if that is the main issue. Because we want to keep as many small businesses, as many immigrant-owned businesses, as many Black and brown-owned businesses in the third ward as possible, we should be bending over backwards to try to figure out, oh, it's not that to figure out like how we can make this work so that a needed resource stays in our community. It would be one thing if there was, I don't know, sex trafficking, drug use, violence, crime, or anything that was happening in the store. You're telling me that we're having this hearing and you're revoking someone's conditional use permit over cigarellos. You can buy cigarellos at Schnucks. You can buy cigarellos at Family Dollar. Why are we trying to close small businesses in neighborhoods that are dealing with food deserts, that are dealing with poverty, that are dealing with a lack of resources for something that seems so small and petty?
Ms. Bordeaux, you are repeating yourself.
Is my 3 minutes up?
You are past that, but you're
okay,
now
well,
repeating
thank you.
what you
I appreciate
testified.
you hearing me. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And to be clear, you are here to testify in opposition of this revocation.
Mr. Chairman?
That is correct.
Okay. Yes, Mary.
This is not a revocation.
This is not a revocation.
No, she said it correctly. This is an appeal of BPS's revocation. It's already been revoked. So,
Gotcha.
And I think the proper way to phrase it is that she is here in support of the appeal.
Okay.
Okay. And I
The
have
appeal of the revocation, that is all right. Got it. Okay. Thank
Thank you
you.
for the clarification, Ms. Barton.
Yeah.
And then I also have a question for Ms. Bordeaux, if I may, sir.
Yep.
Ms. Bordeaux, I think I heard you testify that you're the committee woman for Ward 3, I believe. Yes.
Yes.
Have you attended any neighborhood meetings or spoke with Alderman Cone? Do you have a sense of how the neighborhood group feels? We don't have anything in the file from either of them.
I know how Dutchtown Main Street feels. As the committee woman of the ward, we hold a monthly ward meeting, and I haven't heard any concerns about what's happening at the village too. In fact, we had an executive board meeting last night, and when I shared that this meeting was happening today and that there was an attempt to close the store, the other committee person of the ward, Maxie Glamour, our secretary, our chair, they were all horrified to hear that this was happening. So I worked a nursing shift last night. I've had exactly 2.5 hours of sleep, but I made sure I stayed awake so I could attend this meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other board members have any questions? Okay, is there anyone else here to testify in favor of this appeal? Okay, is there anyone here to testify in opposition to this appeal? Hearing none, I will read into the record exhibits, certified copy of the zoning ordinance, appeal to the board, basis of denial based on the Board of Public Service decision to revoke conditional use permit, meeting notice letter, City Journal public notices, photographs, Sanborn maps, copy of the BPS file, and a copy of investigation report dated January 13th, 2026 by Andrea Gutierrez, lead zoning specialist, acting zoning inspector. And with that, I will consider this appeal having been heard.
Chairman, there's been a gentleman that's had his hand raised. I'm not sure you saw it.
I did not. I saw him, but his hand was not raised. We will open this record back up. Is it Rick or Frederick?
Rick is fine.
Rick. And you are here to testify in favor or opposition?
I want to thank you for acknowledging me.
I'm sorry. Are you here to testify in favor or opposition?
I'm here to testify in favor of the Gravois Leasing Agency, and it's taken me this long to figure out how to raise my hand, and I apologize.
Oh, okay. So go ahead. Let's get you sworn in.
You swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Can you state your name and mailing address for the record?
My name is Frederick Ecker. My mailing address is 2705 Utah, St. Louis, Missouri, 63118. I'm in Benton Park West, and I'm here to affirm the leasing issue on Gravois Park, and I want to thank the board for listening to me. I'm here both as a Benton Park West Neighborhood Association board person. I want to mention that in 2025, not only did they show up and make a presentation, but they continued to come to the meeting as members. They've supported the Benton Park West Neighborhood Association, and we listened to them. We went to their lot. It's clean. Of course, it provides jobs to the area. It provides business to the area, brings people into the area when they, lease a car, they have to come in and pick it up. So there's foot traffic. I mean, there's a lot of positive. Yeah, there's a lot of positive things about this leasing thing. And so I want to affirm that from the neighborhood association perspective and from my own personal perspective. And that's all I wanted to say. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Ecker.
Mr. Chairman, could we?
Yeah. So Mr. Ecker, you were well behind schedule, and we are actually on a different appeal than what you were giving testimony for.
I knew that, and I apologize. And it took me this long to figure out how to raise my hand. So I totally, I'm 73. I wish I were a little bit more, better. Okay. So thank you for your time, and I'm out of here. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, unless you officially reopen that appeal, we can't consider that testimony.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Yes. We are not. Thank you.
Okay. My fault. Let me see if I know how to get out of here.
Okay. With my reading of exhibits on appeal number 20617, we have now ended the testimonial portion of this hearing. We will now go into deliberations. Thank you for your service, Laura.
Thank you very much. Have a good rest of your day, everyone.
Board, shall we take a 5-minute recess or continue?
I vote for a 5-minute recess if we could. I know the first time I've asked for this, but I'd like it this time.
No problem, Jim. We will come back at 4:01.
Wait. It's 3:36 right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Make that 3:41. I thought that was a 5 there.
Understood. Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Okay. We are back in session. Let's start with appeal number 20616, 2819 Ohio Avenue.
This guy's been here for quite some time.
You know, Mona, that's what bothers me. There's a couple of things, if I can interject. Sort of what bothers me is that he has been there a while, and he's obviously been using the parking lot on that lot to park cars without any kind of use or variance or anything granted for the 2819 Ohio parcel. Apparently, this board granted him a variance for 2700 Gravois. I think it's 2700 Gravois, about 4 or 5 months ago, or a few months ago. You know, the cars are parked very haphazardly on the one lot that we granted the variance. There's no striping that I recall seeing in any of the overhead pictures of both the lots together. So I guess it just bothers me that he's been using the 2819 Ohio lot without any kind of approval. Also, that lot encroaches upon the neighborhood. It doesn't face Gravois. So by granting a variance, we're granting him permission to encroach upon the neighborhood. Around the lot are houses and looks like mostly rental, but I don't know that for sure. Could be some owner occupied houses. So, and then this doesn't fit into the sloop. And again, this lot actually goes into the neighborhood, and that doesn't even face Gravois anymore. Those are the items that bother me about this particular request.
We just approved something very similar to that over in McKinley Heights for an overflow lot for a used car place, and it was just for overflow. I think he's really trying to do a little bit more on compliance here, because what I heard him say was we approved 2 businesses at the lot on Gravois, and what I thought he was trying to do was move that one business off of that lot because of the questioning that we gave him prior to that, because we don't really like 2 businesses at one lot, on one address. And he was trying to eliminate that by putting it at the other address. He would come into compliance when we condition the number of spots that he would be allowed at the Ohio address, and we would be able to help fix that. The situation on Gravois and his lot there is he's been there a long time and he doesn't have any conditions. So him being in compliance with lot striped and all the other conditions we typically put on that, it's not something that we can do anything about because he's been there for so long. Putting that other business in that location puts that lot and house, I think, in a better light, in my opinion. It also makes that house more usable, not usable, but maybe more productive in the community than it is right now. I don't have a problem with this in the big scheme of things, since we already just did this for another car lot.
So just to clarify, what this board did back in October we could not have put any kind of conditions about the number of spaces on the 2700 Gravois lot. Is that what I hear you say, Mona?
Correct.
That's not true.
Right.
That's
We
not
Okay,
did, we
Mary.
did
I'm
condition.
sure you know best.
We didn't or couldn't?
We did condition it.
right.
So what do we,
So
okay, so
this
what do we
gentleman
do?
has two variances at that other location. So I know he's testified that he doesn't plan to now operate the rental place at 2700 Gravois. But again, a variance stays with the land. So that means somebody in the future could run a rental place plus
Right.
his other business and a rental place across the alley. So that, again, the importance of variances as we think about the strategic land use plan and what this means for the future of our city.
Did we put number of parking spaces or striped parking spaces as one of the conditions?
Let's see.
Or is this even?
Would it be helpful to the board if we don't have specific conditions for car rental places, but a lot of the conditions that we would normally put on auto sales could apply to car rental? Would it help the board for myself to like read off some of those conditions you could consider? Yes, no, maybe?
So I think that would be helpful. I think, and I remember the appellant being before the board previously, but I think in this instance, understanding what conditions we had put on the property on Gravois would be helpful as well.
Okay, so we'll need to take a little break and let us, we don't have that right at our fingertips, so we're gonna need to go get that, okay?
So,
Mary, these conditions you're talking about, those are specifically for the rental business at the other location?
We have the proceedings for the other.
Do you have them right
location.
there?
Yeah.
Okay,
Dre
great.
pulled them. Thanks, Dre. So condition number 1 for a rental place at 2700 Gravois Avenue was that the hours of operation shall be limited from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. 7 days a week. Number 2, the parking lot layout shall be submitted to and approved by the zoning administrator before the occupancy permit is issued. Number 3, vehicles parked on the lot shall be in parking spaces. All spaces shall be equipped with approved bollards or wheel stops so as to prohibit vehicles encroaching on the public right-of-way or private property. Number 4, the parking lot layout spaces shall be labeled vehicles for rent, customer parking, employee parking, or any other uses. If multiple businesses are on this property, spaces shall be labeled for each business separately. Number 5, vehicles owned by the petitioner are prohibited from being parked or rented on public streets, alleys, or sidewalks adjacent to this location. Number 6, vehicle access, egress from the lot shall only be permitted utilizing established curb cuts and driveways on premises. No access, egress of vehicles shall be permitted across sidewalks or curbs. Number 7, any parking area lighting to be installed shall be installed on metal or masonry poles with underground wiring and shall not exceed 22 feet in height and adjusted so that no more than 0.5-foot candles measured at grade falls on any abutting residential use premises. These improvements shall not be installed until approvals and permits are received from the appropriate city agencies. Number 8, the existing buildings on the premises, if any, shall be completely repaired and restored pursuant to all applicable zoning and building codes. These improvements shall not be installed until approvals and permits are received from all appropriate city agencies. Number 9, there shall be no storage of derelict or salvage vehicles permitted on subject premises or public streets, alleys, or sidewalks adjacent to this location. All vehicles shall be in operable condition. Number 10, there shall be no open storage of automechanical or body parts, batteries, tires, motor oil, or other automotive fluids or refuse of any nature on subject premises or on public streets, alleys, sidewalks adjacent to this location. Number 11, there shall be no salvage of parts from vehicles on subject premises. Number 12, the petitioner shall provide a commercial dumpster and establish a trash removal contract through a private source for regular pickups and maintain the entire premises in a clean, orderly appearance at all times. Number 13, the petitioner shall provide a refuse container on the exterior of the premises for use by customers and if shall be emptied on a daily basis or more if needed If another container is needed due to the level of business, it shall also be provided. Number 14, there should be no exterior signage installed on the premises until separate approvals and permits are received from all appropriate city agencies. This shall include mobile commander boards and balloons on tethers. Number 15, the stringing of lights, flags, or streamers on the premises is prohibited. Number 16, exterior amplified intercom systems, phone ringing systems, music systems are prohibited. Number 17, there shall be no cord or rope type LED lighting surrounding or framing windows and doors. Number 18, there shall be no vending, ATM machines, or payphones on the exterior of the premises at any given time. And number 19, the premises shall not be issued a public nuisance notice pursuant to ordinance number 69730 or its successor ordinances.
Okay, that's my motion. I make a motion to approve with those conditions.
Did we have hours for it?
Yeah.
What were I didn't have anything written down. What were the hours?
9 a.m. to 6 p.m., 7 days a week.
Okay.
That's your motion for 2819 Ohio, Joe?
The one that's being appealed right now.
I'll second.
Okay.
And
Go ahead, Joe.
may I ask a clarifying question?
I'm
from
sorry,
Evan?
Jim.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you. Evan, was number 2 or 3 that they're supposed to apply for parking spaces, or can you read it? The one again?
Number 2 says parking lot layout shall be submitted to and approved by the zone administrator before the occupancy permit is issued. And number 3, vehicles parked on the lot shall be in appropriate parking spaces. All parking spaces shall be equipped with approved bollards, wheel stops, so as to prohibit vehicles encroaching on the public street right of way. And then number 4 is that the parking lot layout spaces shall be labeled vehicles for rent or customer parking, employee parking, or any other uses.
Okay, so number 2 is the one I was getting at. Has that been applied for as far as you know, Mary?
No.
I think he had mentioned that depending on the outcome here, then he would do the rest. It's not something that he wants to do unless this has been approved. I think that's what I heard.
He testified. Yes, you're right, Deneen. He testified that he was aware of that, but hadn't done it until today. And then the way
he also testified. He also testified that he just coated the lot and he didn't want to do the stripes until he got permission to go ahead and do it. So that is why I'm saying what I'm saying. He's agreed to all those conditions, and that's where we're at.
All right, good point, Joe. I appreciate that. So the number of spaces will eventually come out once he submits the application on both parcels. Is that correct?
The number of spaces will be determined by when he does the layout. We'll review it and make sure it meets the requirements of the code. And that should determine how many spaces he could have. If you don't put a number on it, then that's how many spaces. If you were to do a condition and say he must provide 20 spaces, and then when he does the layout, he can only provide 16 spaces, then that would put him back here at the Board of Adjustment asking for a variance from that condition.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah.
But you mentioned this is for both properties. We are only appealing one of those properties. I don't believe we're putting conditions on the other one, are we, Mary? Or did we already do that?
We
already. I believe that what Evan just read to you is the conditions that you put on the other property, and he's suggesting similar conditions on this property.
Yes. But that amendment, or the original one, was to put this business in that building.
Correct.
So does that, since they're not there anymore, does he still have to stripe and do the lot?
That's one of the conditions.
Okay.
Yeah, he will. The way the condition is worded is that he has to do that before his occupancy permit is granted. So whatever you decide today, if you do decide and you put that condition on it, then we'll note in the system that it was approved, but the condition says it has to be done before we can grant the occupancy. So we hold the occupancy permit until he actually does the improvements to the parking lot.
Okay, but he's not doing anything to that lot. And he's already there. He's got an occupancy permit. He's on the Gravois lot. He's been there. Everybody said he's been there forever.
Not
Now,
rental.
he was trying to
Joe,
he was
he's
trying
got
to introduce another business into their property, which we put conditions on.
So,
That
so I'm sorry. So in essence, what we've got here, which was a little confusing, is we approved the rental car business on that lot. We're trying to now separate the rental car business from that lot to this new lot. And so then if he doesn't operate the rental car business out of that lot, Joe is asking, well, would he then still be required to stripe that lot, given I'm pretty sure that's what Joe is saying. Now, my concern now is that now we've got two lots that have been approved for rental car business. And so that's really my concern at this point. So I hear you, Joe, but I would be inclined to vote against this because we've got two lots, and unless the applicant comes in and requests that we remove the zoning for the rental car off of the other lot, I don't think that we should approve this, because then we have two lots for rental. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mary.
Well, I do believe that is correct, that would be the situation at hand.
Yes.
What the one lot would have both sales and rental.
Yes, and then the other one would have rental.
Just rental.
But I do believe that is his goal, is to move it over to Ohio. So we could make it a condition, possibly, Mary, that he has to remove as his application. He needs to possibly remove the rental business from the Gravois. Can we do that?
I think you would have to continue it, and then he would need to remove it, and then we would put this back on a future agenda.
Kind of do
then
it,
if,
maybe.
and continue to decide to do what he wants to do.
I'm sorry, say that again, Archer.
So Mary's correct. You would have to continue it and just let him know that's what the board's looking for, and then he can decide what he wants to do with that. But the board can't make that a condition.
Right.
They can. This information is for him to have shared, but otherwise.
But
So that was kind of
we are hearing not the Gravois property, which we've already approved for rental. We are hearing the property that is not on Gravois. It's a separate business. I don't know why we would say no and continue it. He can come back anytime and take the rental property off the other property, not affecting a thing.
Or he could not, and then you've got two locations for rental. And so I think the goal here is that there is only one location for rental, not two.
And this doesn't just apply to Mr. Vanderplume, who has been a good player in the city, but it applies to all future owners of this parcel.
Right.
I understand. We happen to have that situation all the time, especially when we're dealing with car dealers or car businesses.
We have that situation, but the city has adopted a plan that says we don't want that situation. We should be moving away from that situation.
So we should take this opportunity to closing down.
We're not closing him down. He has variances to operate.
No, he
Right.
already has a variance on the other property to operate a rental car business. So this would allow him to operate that business on a new parcel while still maintaining the rental car business on the existing parcel.
I believe
Could we put a
that
condition
Mr.
on that?
Vanderplum does not want to run the rental business out of the Gravois property.
Sounds good, but legally we can't enforce that unless we continue this and have him remove it.
Yeah, but that would not be, in my opinion, in his best interest, because then he loses what he already has, which is the ability to run the rental business. Now
No,
we put him in
He doesn't have.
he has that ability because we approved it a couple of months ago.
Well,
He
right.
has
But
that
what we're
ability.
asking him to do is take away the business before he has the ability to run the business at the other location. So we're going to put him out of business to have him come back to reapply.
I understand what you're saying, Mona, and yes. Archer, how do we deal with that?
So that is something that's unfortunately is baked into the situation. I could do some research and speak with him if he wants to do that about ways we could potentially mitigate that risk for him if he would enter some sort of agreement with the city. But at this point, today that would not be possible because he hasn't agreed to anything and he has that interest and hasn't done anything to lose that variance. And so
Could we postpone the vote till next week until you have an opportunity to speak with Mr. Vanderplum?
If you're going to take additional testimony or information, you're going to have to, we can't do it next week. We have to publicly post it.
Well, no, we're not taking additional testimony from what I understood.
Additional
Archer,
information.
Yeah, any addition, even
Any
from our
additional
attorney.
information. Yeah.
yes, you would. Yeah, you'd have to. So the way that testimony would probably come is through Mr. Vanderplum, not through me, because then we'd have to. If I were a witness, then we'd have to get you a new attorney. But that any new factual information would be evidence that would have to be submitted. So if you want to consider any of that, you would have to continue it for a new date to be heard.
Mary, is it at all possible that we could get this back on the agenda within a month?
No, sorry. We're all
45 days.
I will tell you what we have open. It's just going to take it a minute to come back up here. So it looks like if he submitted the information today, unless it gets filled up, there's one spot left on the February 25th agenda. And then the next opening would be on the March 11th agenda. There's 4 spots right now. I say that because at any minute, because people can go in online and pick their hearing date, as soon as I say there's an opening, it could close. So I just want you to understand it's not a promise. I'm just looking at the screen right now, and there's one opening on the 20th.
Okay, I'm going to step out of order for a second here. Mr. Vanderploem, can
I can hear you.
Yes, can you go in and make this request right now?
Yes, I agree with what you guys are saying, if that helps at all.
Well, yes, but if we continue this, we need.
So I just want to remind you that it's one spot. Technically, he needs two spots because he wants to amend his variance, which is a different appeal. And then we would need a spot to put this on because this is a separate appeal.
Can I just say that I agree with everything we're saying?
The
No.
March 11th agenda is what we're looking at, probably.
It would probably be my wife that would be on it because I don't have a surgery that week.
So okay, we do not care who represents you, Mr. Vanderploem.
Okay.
So what should we continue this? My recommendation to you is to immediately file to amend the order that we approved on the other property.
Gravois.
So
Thank you.
say that again. Let me write this down so I know what I'm doing. I'm sorry, sir.
You're going to need to file an appeal to make an amendment and have the rental car removed from the other property.
Okay. And I do that
based on how the vote turns out. Go ahead.
The only thing that makes me nervous, and I'm just asking if I can even ask this, I don't want to amend it unless I know that I'm approved on 2819, which it seems like I am. It seems like we're all in conjunction. I'm completely fine with that. But do you follow what I'm saying?
I do.
And I'm more than happy to say right now I'll do that today, which I don't know if I can, but I don't want to amend it until I know that I'm approved. Because then I'm out of business.
I absolutely understand, and that's why I ideally we would hear both of these on the same day.
Okay.
But Mary has just informed me that we cannot hear both of these on the 28th, 29th.
25th.
So the March 11th meeting, is there an opening for 2?
There's actually 4 openings on the 11th.
I hope I don't need 4. Okay, I will. Mary, who should I call down there to do this? Or can I do this online?
No, you'll have to do this in person and you'll need to see Dre.
Okay, can I send my wife? I can send my wife down first thing tomorrow morning because it's 4:00.
Right.
I can send my wife down first thing tomorrow morning to do this, if that's okay.
I think we're good. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Vanderploem.
Thank you, everybody.
Archer.
Never mind, you addressed it, so I don't need to.
Thank you. Guess I'm doing okay. All right. There is a motion on the table to approve by Joe and seconded by Mona. I don't agree with that motion, but we will proceed. I think we should be going in the route that we are headed. But
Stop editorializing.
You can.
I'm sorry. What was that, Joe?
Stop editorializing. Let's have the vote.
I will call a roll. Joe Klitzing.
Yes.
Yes.
Mona Parsley. Jim Dallas.
Ooh. I
We'll
would
come
say
back to you.
didn't have
Deneen.
to.
I say yes.
The chair says no. Jim.
I'll say yes.
The yeses have it.
So I did not have any conditions written down for that.
Yes,
All the same conditions we had.
So
for the
did you go and
conditions.
agree to all those conditions
Right.
with hours of 9 to 6, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., 7 days a week?
Yep.
Okay.
It was the same conditions, Mary, from the previous from Gravoy.
Okay.
I didn't condition it, but I would like Mr. Van Plume to come down and go ahead and file to recall the one off of Manchester, if he would. I'm not conditioning it, but I'm suggesting to keep everybody in this room.
He's going to do
smiling.
that.
It would be wise.
Yeah, you can't condition that.
I'm not. I'm just a suggestion.
Appeal number 20617, 3192
findings.
Watson Road.
We need
We need
findings.
some findings.
Oh, I'm sorry.
As condition will not be a detriment.
I'm surprised you didn't call it an asset.
No, no.
God.
Sorry about that. I am moving too quickly. I'm trying to do something other than this forever. Yes. So appeal number 20617, 3192 Watson Road.
Counseling office. Looks like a good fit for me. I always need counseling. I'll make a motion to approve. Needs a dumpster, needs a sign permit if they put a sign up. Hours of operation, 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday through Tuesday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Won't become a nuisance.
Did they say they were closed on Saturday and Sunday?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Anybody got anything else? That's my motion.
I'll second.
Thank you, Jim. Motion made by Mona, seconded by Jim. All of those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Findings?
Won't be a detriment as conditioned.
Okay. Appeal number 11992, Laclede Avenue.
I have a thought on this one. My thought is I really don't want to send this back because it's not forever and it's just going to be a lease for 10 years. I do not have a problem with the setback because this could change in 10 years when the lease is up. And I don't want to postpone this any longer than it has to be. 3 feet versus 5 feet. I don't care.
And to clarify, when you say the lease, you mean the lease next door, Mona?
Yeah, the lease for the parking lot. He's leasing this land for this parking lot that he's developing. He doesn't own it. He's leasing it from the Cortex. It's a 10-year lease. It doesn't have an automatic renewal. He doesn't know what's going to happen in 10 years. He's hopeful. I'd like to see this development happen. I think it's good for our city. I think it's good for our tax base.
I agree with that one.
I did want to throw it out for a discussion before I just automatically said, hey, I vote to approve. So
So how does the conditional use aspect, what makes this not permanent, Evan?
So conditional uses stay with the operator. After a period of a year of, like, if they don't have an occupancy permit, the language in the code states that a new conditional use would be needed for the same use in the future. Also, if there's an expansion of capacity is kind of the language we use of the particular use, a new conditional use would be required. So it runs with the operator essentially as compared to the land, like the variances do. So we do have some conditions for parking lots.
We're all ears.
Sure. Condition number 1 says the petitioner must obtain the proper permits from the City of St. Louis Building Division for any proposed signage at this location. Number 2 states the petitioner must apply for and receive a permit from the City of St. Louis Building Division before posting signage, and signage must be professionally prepared and approved by the Office of the Zoning Administrator before being installed. Number 3 says the petitioner shall provide a refuse container on the exterior of the premises for use by customers and shall be emptied on a daily basis or more if needed. If another container is needed due to the level of business, it will also be provided. And then sometimes you guys pull like the parking lot layout, the lighting, and so forth from the auto sales or the miscellaneous sections of your standard conditions book.
I like lighting. I think that every parking lot needs lighting.
All right, I'll read that just so you guys know what it says.
Thank you, Evan. I
Under
don't want to
the
be in a dark parking
miscellaneous
lot by
or-
myself.
Is that under the miscellaneous, Evan, that you're reading from, or?
Let's see. Well, no, I was looking at the auto sales one.
Okay.
And then there's also one in the marijuana one about extra lighting.
There is one about exterior lighting in the miscellaneous. It's very similar to what's in the car sales one.
Do you want me to read that one, Mary, or do you have it in front of you?
I have it right here. I can read it
Thanks.
for them.
I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
It says the exterior building lighting and parking area of the facility, if any, shall be equipped with lighting fixtures of sufficient intensity to illuminate all interior areas of the lot with an illumination of not less than 1.5 foot candles evenly distributed as measured at floor level. These light fixtures shall be turned on from dusk to dark.
I believe the lot had signified interior lot lighting. If you look at the plans, they're in the center of the lot with 4 heads coming off of it. I think there's 2 or 3 of those in the lot.
Yeah.
I don't think they're around the perimeter, is what I guess I'm getting at.
What's your thought on that, Joe?
I would think that actually what's the area there called?
Cortex?
Cortex would probably have more input on the look of the lot than they may have more specific requirements on the look of the lot than what we have in the zoning code, possibly. Because they kind of rule the whole area, correct? At least they have a separate agreement on some items. I don't know. I haven't driven through there enough to know what their parking lots look like.
I don't know.
Well, it's not an overlay district, so as far as regulations go, it has the same, the regulations that are in the underlying zoning code.
I know, but Mr. Fisker and Winserling both brought up their involvement, and I just wanted to make sure that Cortex doesn't have something that they could put over it, because they're involved in the whole deal here. But I don't know how we could condition it. I'm just concerned that our conditions may conflict with their conditions. But they've been working on it for so long, I imagine that they've approved the center lot lighting.
Yeah. So I think I think our the conditions that we used on the miscellaneous conditions under lighting would be a minimum, and then what they produce, if it is beyond that, is great. But I think this would be a minimum requirement.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure we didn't develop a conflict between them that holds it up even longer.
Yep. But we don't have a motion on the floor.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
As conditioned by Mary.
Yeah, I don't have any problems with any of the conditions you had on.
Okay. Motion made by Joe, seconded by Mona. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Findings, Joe?
Will not be a detriment as conditioned.
Cool. And appeal number 11993, 4164 South Grand Boulevard.
I keep coming back to that it just does not appear from the submissions previously and as of updated as of yesterday, they still don't seem to be taking items off the shelves that are restricted, and that's really what's getting me with this case.
Under the direction of his attorney, just to be specific per his testimony. Because his attorney told him not to.
Yeah, until this hearing. So I think we make recommendations here. But so my opinion is that we make a recommendation for all of those items that have been brought up, because they will now see those items which the owner did not was not privy to what the findings were from yesterday. But those still exist, and they should be removed. And if the owner would like to change some of the conditions, given the climate that we're in today, where marijuana is legal, he is welcome to bring that before the board. I think we should continue this to allow him time to get those items removed, and in that time frame,
compliance.
To come in compliance, correct.
And I guess, did everybody notice in the very thick 123 PDF document that there is a notice of public nuisance that has been issued to them, but I take it just hasn't gone through its process yet. Just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, I was concerned about that, Jim. There have been a lot of activity and stuff, but a lot of these type businesses seem to often have certain I guess negative activities around them. When you got, all these things being sold out of a particular place, often, a lot of these type of activities happen. And then there's I think a resident that wrote a note about a personal experience about what's going on over there. And then the Dutchtown CID raised some concerns about the location as well.
Mm-hmm.
Mary, do you know when a public nuisance hearing might take place?
So I don't know the details of how that whole process works. I know that they have several, it can sometimes go on for a couple of years, where the owners are meeting with the police department. We're not privy to any of that, and we probably shouldn't be, because it's really police business. Archer may know a little bit more about the process to help explain that.
Yes, I can share a little bit about the process. First, I want to note that because the board didn't receive any evidence about a nuisance order that was issued, the board can't consider that at this time. That may also be a reason to continue if the board believes that that might be the case. They have time to correct the.
Wasn't it in the BPS file?
Yeah, it's in the
I did miss that.
And the board got a copy of the BPS file.
Yes, I apologize.
Yeah.
So that process does take a certain amount of time depending on the situation. It can go quite quickly, but they do have to give them a certain amount of time to come into compliance. There are meetings, and it can also go on, Mary's correct, 4 years. And I'm not entirely certain how the team decides how to do that, but one of the first steps that is taken is the issuing of the cease and desist letter, and that's what the board can go off of. So if that's also something the board can consider.
Just also to clarify, this condition, though, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mary, is this one is that shall not become a nuisance property, which is our old condition. And we updated now to say shall not be issued a nuisance letter, which is very different.
It's two different processes.
Right.
Yeah.
So they have not been issued a nuisance property, to my knowledge.
Just a nuisance.
Well,
Yeah.
right. Yeah, that's what I was pointing out, Lisa.
Right.
Maybe I didn't do it very eloquently. They've been issued a notice, but that has not been adjudicated yet by anybody.
How many notices are we talking about?
I think it was 36.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a lot
I
of
didn't hear that number.
within a year though. It says October 2024. It went back that far, so we obviously can't know how many before October 2024 because they're not listed here. And we cannot obviously assume that there have been some, but it's a concern to me.
Yeah, I think that continuing it until we find out what's going on with this nuisance situation is proper.
So, Archer, I'm going to ask you to correct me if I get it wrong, but right now, what the board is considering is an appeal to overturn BPS's decision to revoke it. So the way I see it is you have three choices. You can uphold the BPS decision, you can overturn the BPS decision, or you can table it if you want to give them like more time to come into compliance. But you can't table it to let them go massage a condition because this has already been revoked by BPS.
Okay.
BPS revoked it and they're here appealing it to you. So it's a little bit different.
You're right. It's BPS. I'll be honest with you. I'm okay revoking. 36 calls, 36 nuisance calls. 36. I tell you what, I wouldn't want to be living 2 blocks away from that or a block away from that or.
But if we table it, Mary, can you clarify what happens if we make a motion to table? Is it still another time frame, 90 days, similar to continuing? Is I guess what I'm asking.
Continuing or tabling is sort of the same thing. You can put an amount of time on it. You guys have already heard me talk about where we're at as far as in the agenda. So, we're looking at least 60 days before we could get them back on an agenda.
But he's out of business already, right?
It's been revoked.
So
Yeah. Go ahead, Archer. Sorry.
Of a BPS decision to the Board of Adjustment, it's automatically stayed. So right now it's he's allowed to be operating while the board decides.
Mm-hmm.
Does he have a recourse after this if we turn him down to go to the circuit court?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Is it automatically stayed, Archer, if we uphold the BPS decision?
No, he would have to request the judge to give him a stay at that point.
So my next question would be, do we, so 36, there have been 36 calls. Do we have information on that currently?
We have what was presented to BPS in their package.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, I mentioned that I'm for tabling and continuing, whatever the right term is. I know we don't have a motion on the table yet, but I'm still, we did have letters to uphold the revocation. We had one impassioned neighbor also come on in opposition. Okay. I'm for tabling, but did he?
I'm looking at pictures and it looks to me like they're selling marijuana. I mean, it looks like marijuana to me. It's a picture. And I know he testified that he's not, but I don't, looks like buds to me.
I agree with that. I am looking at that photo as well.
Which
Picture
might be why
38.
he wants a sign with a marijuana leaf on it in the window, you know.
I know, so it's not a really big deal for them just to not tell us the truth.
I mean, something else I'll add. I think we heard a lot of testimony about how marijuana is legal. So it is legal, but it's only legal to be sold in a state licensed dispensary.
Correct.
You know, so if you go into a dispensary, you can buy your marijuana and you can buy all the different devices you need to smoke your marijuana. So I don't.
Not in this location.
So wouldn't this be the marijuana police issue or the police department issue if he's selling marijuana illegally?
Yes.
I mean,
yes, it would.
When those guys walked in to inspect it, did they smell marijuana?
So if
Got a
you
pungent sound, or
if you
pungent
looked
smell.
at the file before the hearing, you would have seen that what was presented and how this got to BPS was by the police.
Exactly.
So the police are working it from their angle, but they're also, you know, they also consult that we work pretty frequently with the problem properties department, and they always check with us when they have a problem property. Has it gone to any kind of zoning hearing? Was there anything issued there? And that's what, quite frankly, most of our revocation hearings that come before you or BPS are complaints that come to us either from citizens or through the problem properties office, or sometimes from the alderman about people, and they want us to look in and see, you know, was there anything issued by zoning that you can consider revoking because they're in violation of their conditions.
Understood.
So
I didn't see any pictures of buds in the packet.
38.
It's in there. It's
Picture
yesterday?
37 or 38, I believe.
that
No,
one from
not from yesterday. This was from October 27th, 2025.
All right, so I just want to clarify where you saw the picture. I did see a picture, but
it's not from yesterday.
Not
So
from
that
yesterday.
that has been removed. It was there. So I think personally that we should continue it. We are for up to 90 days. Allow them to come into compliance. And if they are not in compliance at that point, then yeah, that's plenty of time for them to come into compliance. And so I personally not give them any additional time beyond that if they are not in compliance by then. That's my suggestion.
Is the property subject to just like reviews anytime? Do we have to give them notice when there's somebody going in to review and take pictures? Just anybody can go in there and take pictures or review the shelves.
So if
Is
you're,
that correct?
so we would go out to do that if we were doing another revocation investigation. And we don't have to notify them that we're coming. Sometimes when we're doing that, we will talk to them in advance because we might want to talk to the manager of the store as opposed to, you know, a young kid that might just be working a part-time job and they can't really answer questions about the operation of the store. But we don't have to notice them that we're coming out. If we get a complaint, we go out, we identify ourselves, take a copy of the conditions with us to have a conversation with them.
So what I'm hearing is if we table this and continue it, we can go out basically at any time. Or do we have to get a complaint before we go out there and take a look at what's going on in the store?
So right now we're operating under a complaint. How this originally started was a complaint from the problem properties to the zoning office, and then we did an investigation, sent it to BPS. BPS, let's see if they did. BPS actually revoked it. They did not continue it. So now it's before us. If we continue it, we won't go back out there unless we hear from like if they call us and say, okay, we've got everything done, we can get them on an agenda. It's when we get them on the agenda that we would go back out there unless we get another complaint. But I guess the answer to the question is Evan or Dre will not be going out there weekly proactively to check on this. We just don't have the resources to do that.
But Jim, any citizen can do that and provide those photographs to the board for testimony if they choose.
Yeah.
So it looks like Mr. Kanzler is still on here. I say we continue it. All items need to be in compliance, and that would be my recommendation.
Is that a motion?
I don't make motions. I'll second it.
I'm sorry. I want to say that there's a lot here in this one, and I would like to uphold the decision that was already made by BPS. I really don't see the value in continuing this. It's a lot going on here. It's nearly too much in my mind. You got paraphernalia, you got all of the makings of an operation that wants to be in the marijuana business. And this is why is
this a motion?
There.
Are you making a motion?
Yes. Yes, it'll be my first one. Yes.
I'll second you. I think we give way too many chances to these places that are just running amok. And 36 complaints is way too many in a year. Oh my God. That's way too many in 12 months, in my opinion. It's before it got to here. This is part of our problem with the city, allowing this kind of stuff to run amok. There we go.
Motion made by Deneen, seconded by Mona. All of those in favor?
Aye. This is your chance.
Aye. Come on, people.
All of those opposed?
Aye.
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 Motion fails. Do we have another motion?
I move that we table it to give the appellant a chance to bring all items under compliance.
I'll second that motion. Moved by Jim, seconded by the chair. All of those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All of those opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
I do not remember if
The motion carries because
motion
this is not overturning the building commissioner. This is overturning BPS. So,
thank you, Mary. Motion carries.
or
Um,
overturning BPS, it's continuing. So, sorry.
Thanks, Mary.
No finding.
No findings. We will now go into a closed session prior to we will go into a closed session prior to deliberating on the meeting minutes. Can I get a vote? Deneen.
I don't know what to say.
It's a yes or no to go into closed session.
Yes, let's go into closed session.
Jim.
Yes.
Mona.
Yes.
Joe.
Of course.
And that's a yes from the chair.
All right, folks, give me a second to put folks in the waiting room. Dragging you out.
By the way, happy birthday, Anthony.
Oh, happy
Thanks, Jim.
birthday.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Birthday.
Thank you.
25 look real good. Look at you. 25.
We're going to party. No.
25.
And there's a couple people that still need admitted. All right, Chairman.
Okay, we're now back in session. Can I get a motion to approve the meeting minutes from January 7th?
I'll make a motion to approve the January 2nd?
7th.
7th meeting notes with the
That's it.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can I get a second?
I have to admit that I did not receive an email with last week's meeting minutes.
Okay, I will second Joe's motion. All of those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Meeting minutes accepted. Any new business?
No new business from me, and we don't have a meeting next week, so you get a week off. We'll see you the following week.
Yeah. Today was the day that I needed the meeting off.
I know. Yeah. Well, try to remember that next time, and we won't schedule.
Oh, we could always say in honor of your birthday, we're going to take off next week.
Oh, okay.
Mary, Barry and Anthony, are we assuming that everybody is keeping good track of who's on which meeting? Because I'm not on do you need to say these are the board members that are scheduled for January 29th?
Dre keeps track of that. And everyone should be communicating with her, you know. Occasionally I'll send out an email with her and her name and my name both on it, just because one of us might be out of the office, so the other person knows what's going on and can make sure.
Okay, and I will say I haven't seen anything come out for February yet. I did talk to Dre when I was in there to let her know which dates I'm out of town.
Okay.
But I haven't seen any schedule yet come out for February and March.
Right. We haven't.
I'm sure that's in the works. I'm sure that's in the works.
We did. I will report that I did see Mel last week. He came to, or I'm sorry, I guess it was Monday or Friday. It was Friday. Yeah. He came to sign the new rules and regulations, and we gave him the card. He said, "Thank you very much." things are going well with his recovery from his knee surgery. Unfortunately, after his knees got kind of straightened out, he had some back issues because of the way he had been walking. But he's hopeful that that will be straightened out, and he's hoping, by sometime next month he would be back with us. So he said to tell everybody hi.
Hi.
All right, good to hear.
Yeah, he looked good. He drove, but I didn't make him walk all the way up here. I went out and met him, but he was out driving. So, yeah.
Can I
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Sure.
Motion made by Joe, seconded by Jim. All of those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Bye.
May all you lovely people have a good week or 2 weeks before I see you again.
Yes. We stand
Enjoy your
adjourned.
birthday, Chairman. Have a good time.
Well, thank you.
Happy birthday.
See you guys in 2 weeks.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.